Yeah, Rap Radar Podcast, Elliott Wilson.
B.Dot.
B.Dot, what's up, baby?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah, I put this guy on many magazine covers, but this is only the second time I've seen him in real life, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the
man.
game, man. What's up, game?
Bro. Chilling, man. Happy to be here. I was really looking forward to doing this.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Congrats on the album, man. How fulfilling is it for you? Like, you know, when you think of the game, you don't think of singles, you don't think of songs. Like, you're an albums artist, right? People think you're bodies of work. Like, talk about that, you know, pride you may have in that, and like, how do you then approach albums?
I think like from the early stages of my love for hip hop, even my father before hip hop, he always had like a CD case that rolled shotgun in his Seville in his Cadillac. So it was like he would have to pick the CD case up and then put it in the back seat if you was riding with him. So it's like you open the CD case and he was real OCD about the Gap Band on this page and then George Clinton on the next page, and he had his early rap, the Sugar Hill Gang and all of that. So once I started really getting into hip hop, my pops bought me a CD case, and then I would have like all Nas's albums and the Chronic and the Chronic 2001 and all JayZ albums on the page, so that if my homies came over and they was flipping through my CDs, aesthetically it was pleasing. So that's the number one reason that I'm just the album guy. I love like full bodies of work. I feel like and then back then, like you had to. You couldn't just drop a single. Well, you could drop a single. You could drop the Who Let Them Dogs Out and then still be getting your residuals today. Or you could have been like one of those artists that just is cemented in like, hip hop forever, and I wanted to be one of those artists, so that's why it was always important to me.
I thought you retired from the game though, man, from the last project.
You know what it is, man, is I try every time to kind of step back and I could easily just never rap again, but I got so many people around me who really believe that I'm one of the best rappers ever, dead or alive, and they really believe that, and I know this to be true too, so I just I come back, man, every now and then.
So what was your process like putting out Drillmatic? Was it the takeoff when you and Ye did the easy thing, or did you already kind of have it planned out?
So this nigga Ye, I was working on my album and I was almost complete. I was almost finished with it, and then Ye was like, yo, he popped in, we did easy. He was like, yeah, let's go to Miami. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of the album. He's like, I need you. And that's my brother. So I'm like, all right, we go to Miami. We ended up being in Miami for a month, working on Down to Two. And we got it complete. But then that was a month that I took off of my album. So once Ye came back to LA from, to see his kids and stuff, I stayed in Miami because at that point I'm having fun. And then after that, I stopped by, Houston and New Orleans and had some more fun. So I ended up being gone for 60 days off my project. So when I came back, I was just like, I gotta like get back into it. So I took like, maybe a week to just dive back into it, little lyrical exercise. I was doing songs that wasn't per se for the album, but just to get back in the swing of things. And so once I did that, it was another 3 months that I needed to put the album out, and it was basically based on sample clearances, which I might not ever use a sample ever again in my life after this album, because number one, I had 30 songs on the album, trying to clear, I think maybe 20 of them had samples in them, and samples are getting so meticulous these days that it's not just like clearing a whole sample. Like you got to go through the writers and the producers, and some of these people can't be found, and some of these people are no longer living, and you got to go through estates, and it could be one hi-hat that is from something 50 years ago, and if you don't find that, you got to pull the whole sample, and they getting tricky with like replaying stuff too, and what I'm saying, interpolation. So it's like, it's just too tedious. So I think from here on out, I'm just gonna go straight back to just raw hip hop and just my voice, less features and less samples. But this album came out incredible. That's why I pushed it all the way for the last 7 months, and I'm just happy that it came together the way it did, and I was able to keep almost every song that I recorded for it, and that they all gelled the way they did.
And you shouted out JayZ for helping you clear 7 samples on there, right?
Yeah, man, 8 now. 8, because at the end of the day, I used Father's Prayer, which was, I can't see it coming down my eyes, so I'm gonna make somebody's son cry. And so you got to clear that, even if you flip a word or something like that, and rightfully so, because everybody should get what they deserve if that, if they were true to their art and they're the originators of creating that content.
Yeah. Did you think that he was gonna get those cleared for you?
Because of my tricky past with throwing shots at Hov, I think at this point he knows that I have grown and I have matured, and also, of course, he have grown, and I mean he's grown and been grown, and his wisdom, just by far it's Hov, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm pretty sure from afar he sees my growth. We have mutual friends, Swizz, Tim, Pharrell, so he know what's up, and I was hoping he cleared them. He cleared something on Born to Rap too. So it wasn't like I didn't think he was, but for him to be able to just be like,
8 is a lot. What if you say your game? I'm going to give you like 5. Like they gave you all of them, right?
I mean, if you Hov, you kind of got to clear everything or clear none, right?
Right.
And Hov is that type of guy. It's either a no or a yeah. So he cleared them. I was ecstatic about it, and I'm forever grateful. And I mean, the old me that took the shots at Hov, and I don't regret anything. I did what I did, and I think that he understands that too. You know what I'm saying? I was young. I was 24, 25, and shooting, throwing rocks at the throne. Hov has always been at the top, and I've always been a fan. And so even if I'm a fan, I can still challenge you. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like if Floyd Mayweather could have really boxed Muhammad Ali in his prime, he would have done that. It's not that he want to go to war with Muhammad Ali. It's just that he's a fan, and that guy is that guy. So you always want to challenge that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and started from scratch too. You also referenced the conversation you guys had, and you said maybe I misunderstood what he was trying to say. All
right. So Jimmy Henchman, my brother Jimmy Henchman, my good brother, man.
Manager.
Former manager. Was my manager at the time. Earlier on in my career, he took me to the 40/40 Club, and I was so excited that I was going to meet JayZ and to go to the 40/40 Club, and I hadn't even I might not even been signed to Aftermath yet, but I went to the 40/40 Club, and if you know anything about it, at the bottom there's this bar, you know what I'm saying? And so I went straight in because we were told to wait at the bar. Hov is in a meeting with Leor and Kevin Lyles, and so I was chilling at the bar. I ended up having shots. So when I finally got to meet Hov, he was upstairs, I think in a room playing pool. He was on a pool table, back room. And so I went in there, and I was just, at that point, I was excited, but still I was like disoriented a little bit from my shots and a little inebriated. So the things that he said got misconstrued, and I was sort of offended by his aggressive approach to teach me. Or to tell me, and I took it the wrong way, and I took it back to LA and just did some, some goofy young nigga shit and started throwing shots. But again, like I said, I don't regret nothing. And then that was a moment, and I think that might have been 1 or 2 times I ever seen Hov in my life. So, and that's crazy, being that I've been in the game 20 years almost.
Do you remember what he said specifically that made you feel that way?
I don't remember verbatim, but it was like some real good, older, dope, legendary advice, but it was it was coming from Hov.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
You wasn't ready to receive it at that time.
Competitive
fire.
It's like if Jesus really told you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got drunk in the club with your homies and God spoke to you like, nigga, what you doing?
Right.
But it was something to the tune of the beefs and shit that I was having early on in my career and shit like that probably just was unnecessary and about money talk. But when you're young, you don't be trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I was in a room with I don't know, NBA YoungBoy right now telling him to do this and do that, it would probably go in one ear and one out the, and out the other because he young and he in his, he in it. Once you get older, that's what I hate a lot of times about hip hop is some of these artists, they die before they get a chance to really grasp what it is that they need to in life. It's the untimely demises of Biggie and Pac are the most notable. And if you think about Biggie and Pac, them niggas was wearing suits and hard bottom shoes to the club and Versace and dressing up like grown men. And then think about 24 and 25 years old though. So it's to be snatching some of these hip hop artists off the planet before they get a chance to mature. Me being 42 and looking at that, knowing it, seeing it, it's just I look in the mirror myself and I feel totally blessed because that could have been me at 50 easily.
Is that the reason why you decided to make a sequel for Start From Scratch?
I think that I don't really like sequels a lot. Sometimes when you do something so great originally and it is world renowned and people really love it and appreciate it, that it should kind of be left alone. But I was feeling myself one night in this studio in this room and I felt like there was things that I needed to say. And so that was the song that I set it on, and I really like that song, and I really feel like when I hear it, I feel I think about Prodigy a lot when I hear that song, and so that's why I spoke. And it's the it's the Getaway Mobb Deep sample.
Yeah,
Havoc gave me my first beat ever that I had from like a dope nigga in the game, and I held it until I got signed to Aftermath, which is crazy.
Wow.
And me and Prodigy, we was always cool. They started fucking with G Unit for a minute, and then we fell off a little bit, obviously, because of affiliation. But we got back right before he passed, and I was real happy about that, man, because that was really my dude.
Yeah. You said you and 50, like with the G Unit thing, when you joined them, like I wanted to get your perspective. Like we hear about 50 has these song ideas that you build on and make. But what's your whole perspective, like getting recognized and the idea that you would join G Unit at that time?
For me to join G Unit, that was Jimmy Iovine's idea.
Yeah.
50 was dope enough to entertain the idea and allow me to be a part of the group, which was dope for me because I was still working on a documentary, and everybody knew who I was from like the early on mixtapes, but then I got me and Ski and New Jersey Devil did, but but then I got on Who Kid mixtapes, and I started to get on Clue mixtapes, and like so 50 looked out in that aspect, and plus it made sense. I was from the West Coast. They had Buck, he was from Nashville, and Yayo Banks and 50 were from New York, so it kind of gave us that that triangle of like the world and like America, because you had the West, you had the East, you had the South, and so it only made sense. So it made sense to him, it made sense to me, because G Unit at that time was like running it. 50 was on top of the world, and then Dre got to relax and finish Get Rich or Die Trying, and then work on documentary while we were on tour and going around Cancun and spring break and doing all that. So yeah.
When the conflict happened, like you didn't want to go against Nas or Fat Joe or people that cool with, like, you seem like the rest of the guys were all in for that type of stuff. Did you think that was going to end up being a problem because you wasn't going to ride that way with the unit?
You know what it was is that shit could have went either way, because if me, 50, and Banks and Yayo and Buck were friends outside of music, like it seemed that we were as like a group, then I probably would have just rolled with the group. But we were just artists. Like I just felt like I was game and I'm signed to G Unit. It wasn't like I was with them niggas every day, or we was like breaking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in half or nothing like that. Like we were just, it was a business. I was just in a group. I wasn't like with them niggas like, you would think. So when it came to, I think it was Flex asking me how I felt about, 50's beef with Nas and Jadakiss and Fat Joe. I'm like, yo, these is niggas that I was in the trap. Like, I'm bumping these albums. Like, I know these niggas, and these albums have molded me to be who I am. Before I even knew of a 50, like I was running Nas and running Fat Joe and definitely running the Locks and Kiss and all of that shit. So I felt like, nah, I can't really do that, because I was staying true to myself. And if I was a weird, just a weak bitch ass nigga, then I would have just been like, oh, fuck the niggas I grew up listening to.
Right.
Like, I don't have any ties to them, but I really felt indebted to Nas and Joe, even Joe, from all the way back to Digging in the Crates. Like, I'm a real hip hop nigga, so it was just Joe and Pun, and all that shit was really the soundtrack to my teenagehood. And so I couldn't just turn my back on the music that inspired me. So that was where the conflict started.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of inspiration, obviously talk about Drillmatic, play off of Illmatic. I read that you had that title for Lil Durk, and you took it back, right?
Yeah. Well, he didn't use it. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, I talked to Durk about it, and he was like, yo, that's fire. I might fuck with that. But like 2 years passed and he ain't do nothing with it. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just snatch that back real quick, because I really like that title. And plus the New York drill, the Chicago drill, the London drill, I felt like it was a drill time. And I also wanted to make sure that anybody that was doing drill music or into drill music knows that Illmatic existed. And like, so I wanted to sort of mesh old school and new school and sort of put them together. So that's why when you listen to the album, you got your drill joints, you got your hip hop joints, you got up tempo, you got some slow joints, you got Chicks for the Girls, you got some East Coast sound shit, Chicago. I got G Herb on the album, and that's all I've ever tried to do in hip hop, is just bring it all together for everybody, so that when I drop an album, like you get everything. Like if you get, and not to down nobody, but if you get a certain album from the South, you get the South. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to appreciate it in that aspect. And that's cool too. But for me, I like to cover all bases. Like I like to cover New York. I got Cam on the album. I got 5E on the album. So if you from New York and you fuck with them and you fuck with me and you fuck with New York, I mean, that song's for you. If you from the Shy and you fuck with me and you love G Herbo and you like Wayne and you got, you know what I'm saying, Chrome Slug. So it's just like, I've always tried to do that. So that's why when you look at my albums and you see multiple features, number one, I'm a fan of many artists. I've always been that. I came into it. I only started rapping like when I was like 20 years old. So I hadn't been rapping my whole life. Never wanted to be a rapper. I was hooping and gangbanging. But so I've always been a fan of nigga, of rap niggas. So when I do my albums and I hear a beat, I'll be like, yo, so-and-so will sound good on this. And I reach out. And of course I'm me. So like niggas get down with me and every time they, step it up. 2 Chainz came in here. And we did, No Man Falls, and he was just like, and niggas do this a lot when they get in on me. He like, I gotta rap tonight. I gotta really rap tonight. And so when he laid his verses, I let him go first. You know what I'm saying? And most times I'll write mine first because I know, like, I'm lyrical. I know where I'm gonna go with it. But Chainz got off first, and he just was so proud of like his bars, and we was in that motherfucker going crazy because I was telling my niggas like, yo, Chainz could really, if he pushed to the limit, he can really go there, and he did on the album. So yeah, man, I'll just be a fan. So a lot of features, a lot of name drops. Always gonna be the name drops. One thing that I forgot to do on the album, when I put out the track listing, I was gonna literally count the name drops myself and put a disclaimer under. Like, just so you know, there are 377 name drops on this album.
I always wanted to know, like, how do you feel about that? That's often been a criticism throughout your career that game name drops too much.
I think that if you listen to hip hop, everybody in every album, that everybody name drops now. And before I came, niggas wasn't doing it at the, in the space that they are now. But everyone name drops. It's wordplay, it's lyricism, it's metaphors, and everybody has adapted to it. I'm the one that gets all the flack for it, but I love it. Like I be saying niggas' names. Like I want you to know exactly who I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the car black as Akon, my nigga, it's black as Akon. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
But also with the title, there's like a subtitle, Heart versus Mind. Can you explain the meaning behind that?
All right, so again, this is the beautiful part about the album that I'm glad that I'm here explaining to you two. It goes hand in hand with Drillmatic, right? Because Nas has always been very, very lyrically poetic and unapologetically black and militant and 5%er and all of that, all of the good things that we loved about hip hop, the Public Enemy aspect of it, right? The Q-Tip aspect of it, all of that, the roots. And, on the other side, you have, the drill. And so the drill is straight street, straight, you know what it is, man. Yeah. This motherfucking, it's Dracos and Mayhem, you know what I'm saying? So, Heart versus Mind is simply this, I got 3 children. I love them to death. And so when I'm with my kids, man, I'm like, I'm holding my daughter's hand and I got on, my shorts and my white tee and I'm just out having a good day. And I ain't got no gun on me. I ain't got no nothing on me. I'm just enjoying my day with my daughter and I'm peaceful and I'm at peace. At the same time, I live in a city that is, took the air out of Biggie's lungs and killed Nipsey and killed Pop Smoke. And even though Pac died in Vegas, that was some LA shit. Yeah. So I'm very aware of where I'm from, what niggas do here when they're agitated and they're angry. And it's wolves out here. So that is my mind. My mind, like I know, I'm very, very aware of what goes down in LA. So I just can't not be ready for war. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be. I don't want to have no beef with nobody. And I don't want to be having to, cock my gun at a light because it's 2 a.m. and I'm coming home from the club and I don't trust niggas based off of the history of violence in this city. Yeah. And at the same time, that might be a Saturday night. And the next morning I might get up and go to church with my mama, but do it make me any less gangster or any less of a good father because my heart is at war with my mind? I feel like that is everybody, especially with everything going on disease-wise. And I seen, the fiery crash, in Mid-City the other day and everything going on with these mass shootings and all that. It's like we are all every human on this earth that has a heart and has a mind is at war every day with how they feel about certain things. We got people that, don't want to take vaccines. We got people that want to take vaccines. We got women who are pro-abortion and women who, are on the other side of that. It's just so much war going on internally with every single human that it only felt right that I make my album Heart versus Mind, because I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't want to be, stigmatized with he always changing his mind, or I just want to be human. Like if I put on this outfit and I look in the mirror and it don't look right and I go back and put on a different outfit, like am I allowed to be human? You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to anybody watching this to feel like they have to be a certain way, and it's just not okay to change your mind. You know what I'm saying? And I want people to follow their heart and not let the waves in their brain confuse the signals that are coming from God. So I just want everybody to be at their best and be at peace. But if you got to go to war to save your life or the livelihood of your family, you must do that, right?
It makes me think of universal love, the way you close the album,
Everything is calculated, man. And that's why I wanted that to be at the end of the album, because even after everything that happened and everything that transpired in this, within the confines of, the structure of the album, I wanted to end it with love. I just wanted to end it with love. And so, I brought in Janet and Cassie did so dope doing the intro. And Chloe Bailey and, Breezy gonna do his thing, man. But I love SWV growing up, you know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Janet and Q-Tip and that whole Joni Mitchell vibe. So I just felt like that was just a dope song to end the album with. And I really love that song. I'd love to shoot a video to that.
Yeah. There's still some hate though, man. Like on Twister, you talk about you still don't fuck with your brother, but you made up with your sister.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's just family shit. Yeah, it's just family shit. It's it's we are indifferent about a lot of things, and I don't know if it, will ever be mended. But at the same time, I got brothers that are not blood that are my brothers too. And sometimes in life, and it's tragic when it has to be a Cain and Abel type of situation. But at this point, that's pretty much what that is. So
that's Big Face you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just leave it there, and it's I still wish him and his family peace and all that, because like I said, it's a heart versus mind thing with me. And currently sitting in this chair right now, I don't wish harm or any type of weird negative vibes on anybody into anybody's lives on earth, because I'm at peace. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And me saying that I still don't fuck with him is the truth. It's not a lie. I don't. Yeah. So, but it doesn't mean that, I don't have an ample amount of love in my heart for him and his family and all that. I just wish him peace, but I'm going to do it from what here.
Yeah. Gotcha. How disappointed are you that this Nipsey Hustle collab didn't make the album? Like, what happened there?
I think, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't clear the samples. And like I said, we had a lot of sample trouble. I just know if Nip was here, there's no way that he wouldn't be on a Game album. And I don't know what happens with who owns whatever. And I don't even want to get into that. Somebody didn't clear it. But that's cool though. I'm not even mad at it. I understand. Cause like I said, everyone's got to do what they got to do for the betterment of, their situation. But the album's incredible still. Nip's birthday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Love him to
went
death.
To the Walk of Fame ceremony today.
Love him to death. Always gonna love him. From the first time that I met him, when the world didn't know who he was, and I did.
You say you swear for God.
Yo, I swear, man.
He said, yeah.
I literally pulled up on Nip, man, and then brought him to the studio, then took, him on tour and showed him, the ropes of the beginning stages of hip hop. And I hate that he's not here and that he died in this city. And so, yeah, my heart versus my mind still, because I made it to 42 and that shit is not easy here.
Yeah, there was a line you said on La La Land, like how you wish both of you guys died. Like, do you feel like you died when that?
I feel like a part of me did, because he was the opposite rag version of what I was, even though I'm, however many years older. Like Nip came and he serviced that little small gap that Snoop left open for the next, Crip in LA that was gonna come to prominence on the hip hop scene.
Yeah. What was that like for you to be that guy that broke the West Coast, to be that West Coast superstar, like at that time when documentary takes off?
It was overwhelming. It was eye opening, because I had a I had a way that I thought rap and hip hop was and the industry was, and I was like a little bit heartbroken when I came in and I saw like that it wasn't as real as I thought it was. I think my first instance where I felt like I was in a video game was when I went to the BET Awards, and when I went to the bathroom and came back, it was models in my seat to fill my seat for the camera. I was like, oh, this shit is like, okay. This shit is a circus, all right? And then, you know, other instances, but man, for the most part, like, I really just came in trying to tell my story. I never thought that I was gonna be as big as I was. I had goals. My goal was to get me an apartment that was a little bit far from Compton so I could have some peace, because I hadn't known that up until that point. And to get an Escalade. I want an Escalade so bad, man. And I wanted to put that motherfucker on some 22s, and I wanted the tires to go flat, and I wanted some internet so I could like play Madden. That's all. Those are my.
He likes his Madden. He likes his Madden.
Those are my goals. Like literally my whole hip hop goals. Yo. I wasn't trying to be no legend. I wasn't trying to carry the West Coast. I was literally just trying to be like comfortable in life and have an Escalade so I could just dip through, all black, chrome rims, and just that would have did it for me, man. I could have stopped there and been cool.
Yeah. Were you ever fully even processing, like you're making this album with Dre, like the final like mixing and all that type of stuff? Are you thinking like this album's gonna change the world when you're at that stage of it?
I knew the album was dope, and I was too. It was too premature for me in my rap career because I didn't know much about. Like, I still didn't know much about like the format, the song format. When I signed to Dr. Dre, I didn't know that you had to stop at 16 bars for that to be a regular formatted verse. And I thought a hook was like some shit you throw at a fish or like at a nigga when you boxing. Now, I know I sound like idiotic, but I'm dead. And so if you think
bar us up in the mixtapes.
So look, if you ever heard my mixtapes before I was signed to Aftermath, I would just rap for so long. That's why I'm known for 100 bars, because nigga, I did not know when to stop. Literally. And so my hooks were
like the beat's still going.
So I'm freestyling and niggas on the East Coast thinking that this is a freestyle, but for real, my hook in there somewhere. But I didn't know you're supposed to bring it back 3 times. Like I just didn't know song format, man. And when I actually learned, I looked back and I kind of appreciated all my freestyles, but I felt like an asshole for not knowing song format, you know, but that was just how much of a project baby I was.
But you talk about your legacy. I saw you tweeted one time, you said you don't know how many favorite West Coast artists you had a hand in putting on. You didn't ask for no finder's fee and things like that. Who are some of those artists that you feel like you don't get enough credit for?
It's not so much about like I found you or I did it, but like I definitely was there for, you know, Top Dog and Kendrick and J-Rock and them, all that whole movement. I used to be in, like, I was, you know, the documentary is out. I used to be in at Top Dog's house with my homie Tommy Tom in you know, in Top Dog's studio, just, you know, fly on the wall and giving input. Top Dog will tell you all this shit. And then, you know, Nip, I pulled up on Nip, you know, numerous times on Crenshaw before he was rapping, and then actually when he started rapping, when he actually had a CD. Before that, it was just pulling up and seeing him out there selling and hustling, doing whatever he had to do. But yeah, man, you know, Glasses Malone, early stages of Glasses, and like a lot, man. Like Simba been rising lately. I've been having Simba in here, and he brought
him to that show. That's the last show.
He been doing his shit. I had him in my show. I let him get that freestyle off. But it's not so much of me like letting or saying I did this. It's just so much that I've always been an open book. You know, Ty Dolla $ign when he was doing, you know, the whole jerk thing and all of that. Before, you know, it was popping. I was in the studio with Ty and just always been my door always been open for anything on the West Coast to just come through and soak some game up or just catch a vibe. I've always been that guy, man, and I've always really, really, really looked out for people. And I don't need nothing for it. Like the niggas, everybody know what it is with me.
But it seems like you're a little bit reluctant to embrace this like legend status, because like on Talk to Me Nice, you say how you Grammy nominated for 1 million records sold, but that's not what a legend is. Yeah. So I assume you're talking about yourself. So what is a legend? Do you don't consider yourself a legend?
I do consider myself a legend, but not for the reasons that most people might consider themselves a legend. Number one, before I was ever a rapper, like I was already a legend in my hood for the various things that I did around there. And then just my heart, like I got a legendary heart, just for helping people and putting people on. Everybody around me has enough room to flourish and make something out of that existence. And that is legendary. To be a father, to have a kid in college right now that's leaving in 2 weeks to go back to college, and him making it out his first year, that is legendary. There's so many young African-American men, and when I say young, I mean under the age of 50, right? Because if, we live into 100 at 100 years old at having a good life, then 50 would be the middle, so that's still fairly young. An 80-year-old man ain't gonna look at a 50-year-old man and call him an old man. Right. So just to be on earth still, to be standing, to be, all my limbs to be working, and just be able to wake up every day, breathe, appreciate, and still do legendary shit on every level and in every aspect of my life is legendary to me. It ain't so much about the music. Okay. Being legendary in music is critiqued by fans and the powers that be. And, I feel like I've really sustained a very illustrious hip hop career over the last 20 years. This is 10 albums, and I don't put out trash. I put out complete bodies of work, and I give my fans what they deserve every single time, give or take a few little down moments. But I put out classics, and to be putting out another classic with this album, this Drillmatic shit is a classic, and to be putting out a classic 20 years later after putting out a classic is fucking outstanding, and that's some legendary shit.
You're working with another legend, Hit Boy, who's executive produced on Drillmatic. Did you want to use other producers instead of relying just on Hit Boy?
Man, Hit Boy, when Hit Boy do an album, ain't nobody producing on the album except Hit Boy.
Right.
Even all
so
slots,
just,
right?
That's
just know that. Just know that.
Yeah.
But Hit Boy, Hit Boy got a good rapport with, my other producers, Big Dude and Chiller, and this Davon, and so we keep a family atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? And so Hit was just all the way down with, executive producing the album and allowing, you know what I'm saying, and being down with other producers doing their thing. There was never a point where he was like, I can't do this. We had a conversation about it. He like, yo, I usually don't even, produce albums that have other producers on them.
With it.
And as rightfully so, it's Hit Boy. But with me, I think again, I fuck with him at the early stages of his career too, and we did work way back in the day. So it's that love, you know what I'm saying? And me and Hit Boy,
did for the city.
Me and Hit Boy pops, we down. And so love the big hit, and man, like it's just always a good family vibe with me. So Hit Boy came in and we did our thing, but he overseen everything that I did, and if it wasn't up to par or he didn't like the song, he said it and we snatched it, because at the end of the day it was a Hit Boy album.
Wow,
that's dope.
He produced 6 officially, but you saying his hands was on everything.
Me and Hit Boy did about 30 songs, but for the format and the basically, what I was doing with the album Drillmatic and Heart versus Mind, like, and then the sample clearances, like we put on the album the 30 best songs that we thought would fit, and they gelled together, and I feel confident that we did an amazing job.
You mad that Drake with the braids didn't make the album?
Nah, but Drake came through with 16 bars of excuses, you know what I'm saying? But that, hey, look.
That was a good voice
Was that a real voice memo?
That was a real voice memo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good boy.
Like, that. But see, one thing about Drake, man, is like, that's my dog, man. He if you haven't ever met him, man, he one of the most humble, coolest billionaires that don't even want to be known as a billionaire that you ever gonna meet. I got nothing but love for Drake. Every time we see each other, it feels brotherly. Him, Chubbs, 40, that whole, Nico, all those guys, man. Those are all my guys, and I'm definitely riding for Drizzy.
100 is one of my favorite Drake features. Like, you got the video in Compton. Like, I feel like he got some things off his chest in that joint.
Yeah, he came to see the block, man. Yeah, man. Drake came to hang out for a day.
I read an IG post too that for this album you pulled over on La Brea to write rhymes. You say you haven't done that
Universal
since
Love, man. I haven't did that since like the documentary or something. I wrote I Don't Need Your Love in the car like that in Beverly Hills on the Wilshire Corridor, and I told myself when I wrote it, I was like, man, I'm gonna get one of these condos after my album drop, and I end up doing that. But yeah, I pulled over on the bread one day because I was just like, I just got to stop and write this now. So if I go all the way home, I'm probably going to not be in the mood, you know? So I stopped and, you know, people came by and he was honking and, you know, but yeah, I got it done. And I literally, because I had been struggling with writing the verses for that for like a week. Because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to approach it because I didn't want to leave anything out. I wanted to make sure that I had all of the current events in there, the Uvalde thing, and then the Buffalo 10 and all of that. And I needed to pull over and get that off. And by the time I was there for like 2 or 3 hours, and after I left, I had the song done and came straight here and did it.
That's one thing I noticed about the album. Like, it seems very relevant. Like, Heart versus Mind, for instance, that's my favorite one of the project.
Yeah, I ran that up right on the current
It sounds like
events.
you recorded it yesterday because you have like Beyonce references and like a little controversial kind of.
Yeah, well, I had a conversation with Mustard about being a part of the album because I like this West Coast. I like to, you know, bring in as many West Coast powerhouses as I can. So Mustard was like, yo, hit me in the fourth quarter and I'm going to just give you one beat. And he was like, I want it to be the title track. And I was like, all right. And so I explained the concept to him and I told him what it was. And he held that beat for me and he gave it to me. And I came in on the last day that I could record, the last day that Jason Joshua was going to mix anything. And so that's why everything in there is just so current.
Yeah.
And it was dope because the album was coming out the next Friday. And I got to service Brittany Griner in there the way that I wanted to. And I got to get everything that was, you know, on my mind that night in real time out in the next week. So that was dope.
I want to know what's on your mind with you and Eminem, man. The Black Slim Shady. What's the reason for going at Eminem?
Just because nobody does. Number one. Number two, I pissed off a lot of people with that song. You know, M got a lot of stands, but as far as like it being personal, like it's not personal. Like, you know, I came up on M too. Like I remember the first time that Hi, my name is, came out. I was like wowed by it. I felt the same feeling when I heard that I felt when I heard Juicy from Big the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like when Juicy came out, I was in the 10th grade and I was walking out to lunch and they would play music in the quad area and that shit came on and niggas didn't know who or what the fuck that was, but we never heard a sound like that in my life. And so when I heard, hi, my name is Slim Shady, I felt the same way. So yeah, I always fucked with M. And then, you know, the whole aftermath and the Shady thing, and he was on the documentary. I think me and 50's fallout kind of made him choose a side, and he wasn't doing that shit that I did. He like, yo, I'm going with 50. Fuck you niggas. But but I just felt like, you know, I had some emotions, you know, a little bit about like the Super Bowl shit and all of that. And then, you know, that's like Dre's boy. And Dre don't rap, so it's like, you know, if I want to, you know, have a conversation with Dre or I'm mad at Dre, like let me poke shots at Eminem, and then 50 can't out rap me. So it's just like, you know, he doing his TV thing, and you know, more power to him. The shows are great, but as far as like rap shit, like I got that locked. And so the only person that I could rap with or try to poke the bear and see if like he really want to, you know, go there is M, because it's M.
So you understand why people might call you out on your hypocrisy, because you put out a list like last year about your favorite rappers or your top rappers, and Eminem was like at number 4. So people are just kind of like questioning.
Yeah, that's cool. But and I mean, you laughing, but we had already covered this when I said my heart be at war with my mind, and so is yours. And I'm pretty sure there is, you know, an MC out that you might have thought was number 1 at one time that is not your favorite anymore. It's just that's what fair. It is. And then another thing is that, like, again, it's the Floyd Mayweather and, you know, Muhammad Ali thing. It's like, if he's number 4 and I feel like I'm number 1 for me, why wouldn't I just take a shot or challenge everybody in the top 10? Why not?
Yeah.
When you are on a boxing level, and I love boxing and I love the competitive nature of it, and I also love the rankings and how you rise up. If you met Floyd Mayweather when you were, you know, coming up in the Olympics, and then you ended up, you know, being undefeated, and now you have a chance to fight him, you gonna turn down the fight because you a fan?
Right.
Yeah.
Or are you not training to be better than Floyd Mayweather? Or if he is undefeated, 50-0, I mean, what are we doing? It's with him, you know, specifically, it wasn't a personal thing. It's just that, like, you know, I did it with Hov when I was younger. Just sometimes you shoot shots, but hip hop got to be interesting. These niggas these days are so goddamn boring. Or every time somebody want to beef, Or every time somebody want to be, somebody got to die
Yeah.
or some shit. Like, I don't get that. Like, what happened to just like, you know, MC Shan and like KRS?
Being competitive.
Them niggas are still alive, both of them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know, the bridge is over these days, might get niggas shot the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But it don't always got to be like that. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's just hip hop and you can leave it at that. It's like if I seen M, I'm not fighting Eminem. Like, you know, so it just...
Because even the last album, you had a song called The Light. I feel like you was challenging people, like, step up to take the light. Like, I think Game wants an opponent. You want somebody
I always want an opponent. I always want an opponent. And right now, like, you know, lyrically, outside of like, I don't know, maybe like M or Kendrick or Cole or, you know, one of these super lyrical niggas, like, I don't think nobody like lyrically could really go with me. You know what I'm saying? Then outside of the lyrics, like, I'm really with the shit too. So it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know.
You just said you wasn't with the shit, Gabe. With the
Hard versus mine,
Hard
Elliott.
versus mine, man. Is he here or is he not here? But yeah, nah, my favorite MC as far as lyrically, like lyrical ability goes, like right now and been that way, and a nigga you really don't want to really piss off or go there with is Wayne.
Yeah. Wayne is...
Wayne different, and that's my brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a great moment when you brought him out in your show in LA. That way, and he just went like he took the shirt off. He went in the full concert mode. Like it was insane.
He
to
only
watch.
gonna do that if he feel, you know, if he love you, man. And Ye too. You know what I'm saying? Those are my dudes, man. And I'm really indebted to both of them because Wayne never told me no for nothing, and neither is Jay.
Yeah, I want to go back to Doctor's Advocate, and like people don't realize, like if you look at your career. Obviously, your longevity celebrated now, but you know, you face to me adversity. Only thing I think probably similar would be when Ice Cube left NWA, right? Where it's like you're no longer down with the unit no more. You're beefing with 50. They take you off Aftermath, and you got to go figure it out, right? Doctor's Advocate, like talk about putting that process together. And like I remember the culture at the time, there was a lot of doubting of you that you could do this.
Yeah, anybody that doubted me after the documentary was a fool because I really did that album by myself for the most part. I think the last fourth quarter I went to Connecticut and Mike Tyson's old house that 50 had and then we did the few songs that me and 50 did. But I had already had How We Do written and recorded. I had Hate It or Love It written and recorded from, I got that, you know, beat from Cool and Dre. I had that written on the way. I remember writing that in the Sprinter in the snow going to Connecticut. And 50 is like a hook genius. He a melody genius. So when I got there with the beats, like he just put his melodic tone and his verses on the songs and he did his thing because we were unstoppable once we dropped them songs. Like that shit was just the perfect icing on a hip hop cake. Yep. And so I'm forever indebted to him for that moment that we created. He an asshole. He do a lot of bullshit, but so do I. And so that's why it was like that's why it's always gonna be a Game and 50 thing. And
I was there that press conference. That shit was just mad awkward.
Yo, it was awkward as fuck. But you know what? 50 was genuine on that day. And I was still an asshole. And
so you think he was more genuine?
Nah, he was way more genuine, way more mature than me. He a little bit older than me too. But see, one thing about 50 always understood the business aspect from the beginning. I came in not really giving a fuck about nothing. Like I just didn't give a fuck about paperwork and business and what this, if I did this, it was gonna fuck up this deal. 50 was doing, even like from Vitamin Water, like the early days, the G-Unit clothing, like this nigga was on it business-wise from the beginning. So he knew what that press conference was gonna do. He knew that it would fuck up, if we didn't get it right, that it would fuck up money. And I didn't care. And so you can see the look on my face. And if you really look at 50, you can tell that he was genuine. And I commend him for that on that day too. But from then to now, like, you know, 50, no, man, he an asshole, man. Yeah. He do a lot of asshole shit.
No, but with Doctor's Advocate, you're not getting no Dre beats though. Like, tell me what you built. Like, how did you approach making that album?
Before I knew Dre, I didn't have a Dre beat. The reason that Dre signed me was because I was dope without a Dre beat. And so not taking away from his mastermindness or anything that he's ever done for me, because Dre is nigga Dr. Dre. Like Dre put the stamp on you, you know what it is. He did it for Kendrick, he did it for Pac, he did it for Snoop, he did it for M, he did it for 50. Nigga Dr. Dre is always gonna be Dr. Dre. And for me, he's like what Quincy Jones was to soul music. Like it's Dre. So you got these guys, like you got Quincy Jones, you got the Lionel Richies, you got the Dr. Dre's, you got the Pharrells, the Timbalands, the Swizz Beats, and now you know the Hit Boys, and there's a lot of a slew of producers I'm leaving out, but you get what I'm saying when I say that like Dre is Dr. Dre. It'll never be another Dr. Dre, and you would want to have him as a part of anything that you're doing versus not having him. So it wasn't my choice. It was just my attitude's choice, and how the label Interscope and Jimmy Iovine, Doug Morris, and Universal had to ride with the nigga who was bringing the moving the real units. And documentary sold well, but Get Rich or Die Trying was some other shit. And nobody did that nobody had did that since Eminem over there. So yeah, they had to ride with 50. So I went to New York by myself, and I was in Sony.
Ice Cube style. That's what Ice Cube did.
I was in Sony Studios, and I recorded my most West Coast album in Sony Studios at the bottom, and had Nas come through and Busta, and we got in Jamie Foxx, and we got that song. We got that album done, and it was just because I was so on it to prove that I ain't need these niggas, because I really didn't. And even though, and I hate to sound like that, but I never just needed anybody outside of like my father in life. Like, I don't need niggas. I will adapt. It's dope to have niggas, and it's dope to like do it in a group, have a group effort and have iconic heads around to make it better. But if I don't got nobody, nigga, I'm still gonna get it done. Like I'm a man at the end of the day, and I'm gonna get it done.
You felt that with One Blood, like the.
I was mad as a motherfucker when I did One Blood, man. And I remember this, the beat got brought to me, and it was on a beat CD with like 30 beats on it, and One Blood was the last beat. And I don't even know why I listened all the way through, because usually I'd be like, I skip, and I'd be like, all right, yeah, cool. I just might have to just pick few because I don't want to hurt a nigga feelings. But my dog Reef came with One Blood, and I recorded that motherfucker in like 4 minutes. 4. Like literally went in there and damn there freestyled them verses.
And then One Blood Remix, you pulled it off with all those artists, like 24 artists.
Because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's always a hip hop thing. Because once I got a few niggas on, I'm just like, nah, let's get him. Let's get this nigga.
The end was flourishing.
Yeah, yo, bro, I just got everybody on it, and that song was so big. I remember I used to walk in the club with Jones in New York. We go Brooklyn, Harlem, we go Bronx, we go everywhere. Joe took me out to club in the Bronx one time, and that shit was going up, man. Like, One Blood was like, that really gave me my New York just experience. I'll never forget those times, man. That's why I love New York the way I do.
Staying in New York, man, on Save the Best for Last on this new album, we talk about you wanted to run up on Fabolous?
It wasn't that I wanted to. It was just that, like, I was a hood nigga from LA, and out here, nigga, niggas rob niggas. So I had saw Fab.
Explain that story, yeah.
I had saw Fab outside of this hotel, the L'Hermitage, and he was just standing there, and me and my nigga was like, we used to just wait outside of hotels and see who we could, rob.
Are you game at this point? Like, are you a rapper, or are you like...
I'm like just starting to rap, but I ain't nothing worthy. You know what I'm saying?
But you're not signed or anything like that?
No, I'm not signed or nothing like that. And so, we wasn't trying to hurt nobody. Niggas just running niggas for jewels. And I'm not saying that like Fab ain't no punk or nothing like that. But he was standing out there, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, my nigga was just like, yo, that's Fab right there. And because I'm like, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. Because it was Fab, and I had listened to motherfucking Superman, Lil Mo's Superman, and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I couldn't, niggas be laughing, but when I tell these stories, it's literally like Slumdog Millionaire. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah,
there's moments in my life that like just are really just dominant as far as like remembrance that like keep me from doing fuck shit sometimes. So I was like, nah, nigga, I sat up in my fucking trap spot and watched this nigga get this shit off on his Mo song, on his Lil Mo song in this video on 106 and Park. And that's somewhere I strive to be. So I can't fuck with that.
Have you had that conversation?
No.
Okay.
And so what happened was, once I actually met Fab through my nigga T Mills, Tracy Mills, and because them niggas used to wear the jerseys and shit all the time. And so once I met Fab, I'm like, nigga, this shit crazy. Like, he don't even know. Like, I had to drop, and and anybody could have a drop on anybody.
Right.
There's a niggas, he was in LA. I'd be in New York. If niggas feel like they got to drop, I'm out of my envelope. Niggas could, have a drop. But after that, me and Fab became friends. We did the Compton versus Brooklyn mixtape with Clue. And then I went to New York, and Fab was the first nigga I ever seen in a Bentley coupe. Ever. Nigga was in Brooklyn in a Bentley coupe. We went up to the roof and we were just chilling. I think he might have been shooting like I can't remember what video he was shooting something, but I just felt like, damn, this nigga really getting money. You know what I'm saying? And in the back of my mind, I was always like, damn, I'm so glad that I made the decision that I made because I was really a fan. So yeah, man.
That's funny because Ross is on that same record. Save the best for last. So you say you kind of would have got at Ross too at one point, right?
No. I said that after I said the Fab shit, I was like, we became friends. And so I said I brought some shells and some chalk too for opening up doors that cost a Maybach just to walk through, meaning that I got my niggas back now.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, yeah.
I do want to know what happened at Dre's crib on Labor Day weekend, though.
What?
I remember on Russ's project on Chomp 2, you said, ask Dre what happened at his crib on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, man. We're gonna say that one, man. Another day,
You said I haven't met Dre, so I said
yeah, nah, we're gonna say that one, man. I'll be an open book, except like
I stuffed game, man.
Yeah, nah, man. Next.
Well, going back to Fab, he's one of these rappers came to mad at me to this day because I didn't get him a double XL cover. I gave you about 4 covers, man. I wanted to see if you have any memories.
I know every
of these
one.
joints,
You
man.
props?
I got props. No, yeah, style,
this
baby.
one right here, this was shot in L.A.
Yes.
Let's
You know
see
what I'm
the cover.
saying?
Show the cover.
Yeah. We shot this in L.A. This is a proud moment. I remember how much sweat this bandana was catching. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it was hot as hell in this jacket. It was like a sunny day too, but a nigga had on a whole coat. And I remember this day, man. And this was dope for me, man. Real dope.
I'm gonna tell you my version of it. I was trying to do a Ludacris Chingy cover.
Yeah.
And because I had beef for Luda for some reason. So they agreed to do that, but then they said they insisted after we had the meeting to say they had to add Shauna to it. So I told them F them. And then I didn't have no cover. Then I'm looking at all hip hop and they're like saying, Eve and Busta Rhymes signing the Aftermath. I'm like, fuck. So I make the call. I call him. Dre says yes, but he's like, you got to put my nigga The Game on the cover.
Oh, that's hard.
That's it.
Wow.
So I was like, and then you was G-Unit. So Dre wore the G-Unit shirt to Please 50 at the time. That's why Dre's wearing a G-Unit t-shirt on the cover.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Nah, that's some real Dr. Dre shit. I paired
you with
man.
Snoop. I don't think I got permission. I just went for it.
Yeah, nah.
Y'all wasn't together, right?
Huh?
Y'all guys weren't together for that?
Ooh.
I don't think he was.
It
I
might
think I
have
shot
been
him separately.
Yeah, I think we shot
hot.
separately. I think they shot Snoop and then shot me, but we both knew.
I probably had Snoop, and I love Snoop, but I wouldn't know if it was hot enough at the time, and you
We
was
gotta show the
taking off,
cover.
so I was like,
Yeah.
West Coast.
Nah,
but we got both sides.
Nah, this is one of this is a moment where I really felt like I was really doing something because I got to stand next to Dog, and Snoop is number one in my book, and it's not even like who your favorite rapper or who your favorite lyricist or who your favorite. Nah, Snoop is just my favorite human in hip hop. It's the realest nigga that I ever met in hip hop, in rap, and damn near in life. That nigga stayed 10 toes down on everything and he stands on everything, man, and he don't never change for nobody. He don't get in the middle. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like Snoop just stay right. He be like, yo, I fuck with you and I fuck with you, and y'all gotta get y'all shit together, cuz this shit ain't right. But like, nah, man, Snoop is my big brother, my uncle, and I love him, man.
Two more. This guy got too many covers, man. The butterfly though.
Yeah.
The butterfly. Wait, give me that one. Narwhal style. B.Dot.
Yeah,
Sorry, Narwhal style.
Like Gallagher over here.
Yeah, nah. So the story with the butterfly is that my dad wrote this poem for my grandmother called The Butterfly, and so I always wanted to get a butterfly like tatted somewhere because that poem meant a lot to me. And then I went to Cincinnati and I saw this nigga. This nigga looked like he just broke out of jail from doing like 3 life sentences. This nigga had a big butterfly on his face, like right here, but it was huge. And I was like, I had been hesitant to get mine because I was like, what niggas gonna say? And so then I went to New York and I was doing 106 in Park, and then after that I think I had TRL, but I had like a few hours break. So I went to the tattoo shop, just walked into one, and I told him that I wanted a butterfly, and this nigga like Danner gave me a moth on my shit. And so that's why it wasn't that I wanted to cover the butterfly. It's just that shit wasn't butterflying.
All right.
So I damn near I just covered it up, man, put the LA over it, and it worked out. But
That's tame now compared to today. You know what people are getting.
Yeah. Oh, facts. This ain't shit.
Right.
Yeah, this is you with the LA.
Last one.
The LA.
Yeah.
He LA'd it out.
Yeah.
I had to LA it out. Yeah, I remember this. This shot in LA too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You can show the camera real quick.
Yeah, right here.
I remember that issue.
Yeah, the one where I was holding the gun up like this, that wasn't XXL?
Nah, that was a source. I think.
That was a source.
That was a source.
I couldn't do that game. I had to sell these
fuck them
magazines,
niggas.
man.
fuck the source. No, fuck with you.
I didn't make him say
Nah,
that.
it's all good,
No, but
man.
early on you did shout out XXL a lot, and that used to get me hyped because we wasn't number one yet. So that, I gotta thank you for that.
That was the part of being in the unit that 50 wasn't fucking with Benzino and them, and who was Dave Mays?
Dave Mays,
Yep.
Yeah, 50 wasn't fucking with them, and I wasn't fucking with them because they wasn't giving niggas on the West 5 mics for real, and I really at that time getting 5 mics in the source was
absolutely
it was a big deal.
That was the biggest deal.
Yeah.
And so being an up and coming rapper, I really wanted 5 mics in the source. So really when them niggas really didn't give me 5 mics, I was like, all right, nigga, fuck y'all niggas for real.
Right.
But yeah,
you can have those game Noir style if you want.
Oh yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah,
Since we're talking about covers, man, on the Drillmatic, the cover features my homegirl Brittany Sky. She's braiding your hair on a burning couch. Can you explain the significance of that art direction?
Well, so basically, my heart is in the hood forever. Even though I can't be in Compton for obvious reasons, I would just be making niggas feel bad. I can't just pull my Lambo up, park on the block, and let it sit there and make everybody. Some niggas gonna feel motivated from it. Other niggas gonna feel like this nigga showing off, and you know what happens. So I can't be there every day, but my heart is always there. So that's why I'm getting my hair braided on the couch, because it's that's what niggas would do in the trap. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would get my hair braided on the couch, and so I had Brittany do it because I wanted to make sure that it was a woman that was beautiful and strong and that, was somebody that I respected. And I also wanted her to dress up. I wanted us to dress formal because that is where my mind is. I'm older now, I'm 42, I be in business meetings with suits on. And so even though I'm a hood nigga getting my hair braided on this couch that will be in a dope spot, I'm dressed up. I'm going to a business meeting, which represents, where I am as far as my business ventures these days. And then being by the beach that's my mind all the way. That's where my mind wants to be. My mind wants to be as free as the ocean, man, just flowing and I want my thoughts to just be everlasting. I don't never you go to the beach, man, the ocean just goes back calm and comes up rushing since Earth has been here, and it's gonna be there after all of us perish. And so that's why the ocean means that much to me. And the last thing that I want to do for myself, the last goal I have in life for myself is to buy me a beach house and just wake up every day and just hear that sound, man, because that's really how free and how at peace I want to be towards the later stages of my life.
That's dope, man.
You gotta respect the growth, man.
No landlord to slap, right?
Nah, man, we're not doing that no more, man.
You slapped your mother's landlord. Is that real?
Yeah, that's real, bro.
Why'd you slap your mother's landlord?
Because he would just always come pressing my mom for the rent. And if she didn't have it for obvious reasons. She was trying hard. My mom worked a few different jobs and my pops was in and out of jail. San Quentin, Folsom, County Jail, just in and out for miscellaneous different shit years at a time. And this nigga, Mr. Brown, would just always be fucking with my moms, man. And I don't, now that I'm older, it's nigga, did you like her? And you just trying to do
remember the name. You know you put hands on.
You like a girl in school, you tap her, you hit her. Nigga, you coming every day. She told you next Friday, my nigga. Yeah. And now I'm older and I'm out of the foster home and I'm back with my mom. So I'm just at that point, I was I wasn't even my mom's son no more for real. I was kind of just gang banging and not the baby that she knew. Because when I went to foster home, I was in the 3rd grade. And when I got out, I was in the 9th grade. So by that time, 6 years being away from your mom and being in a different, environment, I just rebelled and I was got out just a straight gangster. So I was with all the shit. And I really love my mom and I love my sisters, and any type of disrespect was going to get met with violence.
Yeah, fuck you, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown probably chilling right now, man. My heart, man, not my mind right now.
Gotcha.
Nah, but once again, respect to that young man was a wild young man. So it's great to see,
man,
42-year-old game.
Yeah, man, I'm a lot more. I wake up every day, and these days, and I'm just at peace, and I don't really fuck with nobody. Besides Eminem on this album, you know what I'm saying? But we explained what that was,
right.
man.
Last question before we get out of here, Game. Are you really the man behind Demi Lovato's success after rehab?
This guy.
I'm just asking, Jay.
He's a shooter.
Yo, Demi is a good friend of mine, and we had a lot of talks about like depression and drugs and rehab and how to fight back. And yeah, I've been there for in some times where she needed to be lifted, and we talked about it and we did it, and I'm proud of her for where she is now versus where she was when she was in her darker days. You know, she dope.
Good to know.
Well, Game, thank you, brother. We appreciate you, man.
All
thank
love,
you for finally
brothers.
do this, man.
No, I got the bum finger.
You gotta stay healthy out here.
Yeah, man.
Salute the Game, man. Yeah.
There we go. Rap Radar Podcast.
Yeah, man.